What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. I want to dig into growth mindset once again. I did a video on building a mindset of success. You can go ahead and check that in the description. That's linked below. What I want to do today is talk about and go over some examples of situations and times where I was in a fixed mindset, how I transitioned into a growth mindset, and what was the ultimate result. And so the goal here is to provide you with real life examples of how I ultimately challenge myself, but also how I navigate my life with hopefully a growth mindset most of the time. It's not always perfect, right? But that's not the goal. Our goal here is to just show up and practice. All right. So go ahead and stick with me if that sounds interesting. So example number one involves dog training. And so one of the things that is very challenging at times is us feeling like we don't have control over things. And so I noticed that my dog at times would just not listen. Right? I would tell her to sit, and it would take her two or three times to hear the command to action on it. And of course, I think a lot of folks would get frustrated by that, and I did as well. But I sat back and reflected, right? With a fixed mindset, I could be like, why are you doing this? Why isn't she listening? Like, this dog is messed up and blah, blah, blah. I can sit here all day and blame the dog, blame the context and everything else. Versus going into a growth mindset, I reflected and thought about what are the things that I'm doing that may be reinforcing that behavior. I realized that when I would call her over or give her a command, I would congratulate her or reward her before she completed the demand. So if I said, come, as she started walking towards me, I would say, good job, instead of when she got here and sat down. Right. And so by reflecting on that, I was able to realize that the issue was not her, it was me. Right. And so that is what the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset looks like. A fixed mindset would say, well, the dog does this, there's nothing I could do about it, versus the dog does this. What do I do that contributes to it? And what can I do to help change this behavior? More importantly, and do so in a way that aligns with my values and my leadership. Right. Example number two comes from job search. So I've gone through several job searches throughout my career, and it could be demoralizing at times. Maybe you're putting your resume out there and you're not hearing back. Right? You're not getting any interviews. If you're interviewing, maybe you're not getting to the last step, or you're getting to the last step and just not getting the opportunity. Incredibly challenging, again, demoralizing, and can be difficult for us to navigate. Now, we can have several responses to this at times, and I've done this myself and have to talk myself out of this all the time, which is, am I not good enough, right? Really questioning yourself, almost like this imposter syndrome component, versus, right, a growth mindset would say, okay, do I have gaps in my resume? Right? Is my resume as well written as it possibly could be? Are there other techniques and other things that I can do to increase my success in this job search? Right? Or what is in my power to continue to increase my chances? So, as an example, a personal example, I can sit here and try to get as many interviews as possible, but if my paperwork's not being looked at, what can I do? Well, work on my paperwork, make sure those things are tight, but also leverage my network, right? Leverage LinkedIn, and more importantly, utilize my skills. So one of my personal responses is to create content, create learning solutions, create courses. I've been doing all of that because ultimately, I won't allow an interview process or a job search process to tell me whether or not my skills are worthy or useful, or that I can continue to grow and develop those skills. What are some ways that you can possibly take more control over your job search process, right? Particularly in aspects where you don't feel like are fully in your control. That's a fix versus a growth mindset. Example number three, I just hinted at it, right? But I've been creating content now for about 3 to 4 months, maybe a little longer. All of it is not posted, all of it is not shared, but I've created a habit where I try to create at least on a daily basis. Now, I'm not creating for millions of views, not trying to go viral. And at the same time, it can be difficult to put a lot of time and energy towards something to only get what we perceive to be a small amount of views, likes, engagement, whatever that may be, right? But a fixed mindset here would say, well, what's the point? No one's looking at my stuff. It doesn't matter. Versus the growth mindset where I'm at, which is I'm going to continue to create things. I'm going to continue to allow myself and give myself permission to create and find a lane where I can be most helpful and most useful as a leader with the content that I can create. Right. I'm not doing it for the amount of views I get or the immediate success that may come. I'm doing it to practice my skill set. I'm doing it for fun. I'm doing it for myself. Right. And so to me, that is a growth mindset because I'm taking control of the situation, the circumstance, the success, and I'm setting my goals on the things that I can control. Right. I'm focusing on, can I reach that one person versus I want to reach a million. That's not my goal. Right. And even reaching the people right now, it's really about, can I have fun and trust myself to just create content and do things, right? Not limit myself based off of a fixed mindset or fear. My fourth and final example would be getting feedback, particularly at work. There were times where, they would trigger this like imposter syndrome, right? I took it as validation that I wasn't as good as I thought I was, or that I was hopeless, right? Whatever that may be. When you're in a fixed mindset, these things, this feedback could be a threat versus something helpful. Right. And so what I did was really get into a space of accepting feedback, taking it in, actioning on it when it's helpful, but not dreading it, not running away from it, and not allowing it to tell me that I am good or not good enough. So really developing a habit where I'm taking the feedback and thinking about how it can help me and help advance the skills that I already have, and not so much a calling out of what I'm not good at. Right. Or that I'm not good at anything because I may not be good at these things that were specifically highlighted at this moment. And so a fixed mindset, once again, would say, well, I was told I'm not good at this. I suck. What's the point? Blah, blah, blah. Versus a growth mindset would say, okay, I have areas to improve in my ability to get out of analysis paralysis. Cool. What can I do to further that? Right. So a growth mindset would then say, I have this gap. I need to go fill it. Let me go do everything I can to fill that gap. Right. And to me, that's fun. I enjoy that. I enjoy finding gaps and saying, like, all right, now I get the opportunity to fix this. Now I have clarity on how I can improve in this specific thing. So that's it, y'all. Those are 4 examples from my personal life that highlight how I go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Or really just highlight the differences, right? What our responses would be in a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful. I'm going to continue to dive into mindset components, the right habits, and continue to find ways to support you all as leaders. If this is helpful, feel free to give a like, comment, whatever that is, share, and thank you for sticking with me, man. Peace.